Okay. Probably the most accurate Master Duel review. I hate Maxi, 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 I hate Maxi. Okay, we're gonna stop. Hello everyone, and I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be reading some negative reviews on Master Duel. Now I have a feeling these reviews are going to go into two places. There's going to be a lot of reviews that are probably going to be people that haven't played the game since about 2006 and are complaining that anything beyond synchros exists, or just ban Maxi. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of that. So without further ado, let's jump into it and read some of these reviews. I'm going to blur the names so that none of you go chasing after these people for their opinion. Enjoy. As expected, the first negative review on the page when you filter by negative is as long as Maxi exists, my review will be negative. Honestly, can't blame you, dude. Maxi sucks, but I don't think he's going anytime soon just because the OCG will probably never ban him. So we're going to have to live with him for now. This is a good one. Just because I play it doesn't mean I like it. Yeah, I think every Yu-Gi-Oh player can relate to this somewhat. When you sit down from a player and you get halfway through the game, you're like, am I enjoying this? No, I agree. Sometimes you do feel like this. Especially when you're going against something like Runic Stun. God damn. Oh, this is an interesting one. Complaints about meta. Even if you do obtain a meta deck, the way the game plays out and how it functions just ruins everything. Might need you to elaborate on that. Sucks all the fun right out of it because none of it is TCG-based rules or gameplay, and on top of it, it's boring as fuck. You'd think with the 10,000 cards it'd be enjoyable, that the game itself is holding itself back. I sort of agree. The TCG-based rules doesn't make much sense to me. I guess they're talking about the ban list, but otherwise the rulings are usually the same. There are a couple differences, I know, but functionally it's okay. And I hate to tell this guy, you don't have to play meta. You do, as you mentioned, you have 10,000 cards to play with. You can play rogue. You might not win every game, and neither does meta, but you can still have fun with it. No side decks either. Can you imagine best of 3 on Master Duel? Jesus, best of 1's already complained about enough. And banishment is non-existent, meaning that even if you banish a card, it can still use its effects. Like, what the army? Okay, let me just double check something. Ever since 2007, cards that are banished have had effects. Necroface is a big example. I know there's loads more. Probably not all from the old era, but banished never meant banished. There's multiple ways, if a card is banished face up, that you can interact with it, even way back in the day. But banishing face down, that's what you're looking for, good sir. Game just sucks. Can't even build my ideal deck without spending more money than what I'd spend building a deck IRL. 0 out of 10. So this is a complaint I've seen a couple times. Can't even build my deck without spending more money. This game is so free to play. Literally, like, just grind a few missions, grind the solo. Especially as a starting player, you can get about 6,000 gems in like 10 hours. And that's after doing tutorials and stuff. You don't even have to go into the main PvP for that. Versus building a meta deck in real life, which could cost you up to thousands if you're building something like Snake Eye. It's a very interesting feedback, but I think he might be wanting to play the old game. Now, this is a really good like hook for a review. Starts off with, is this fun? Is this actually considered fun? And if you ask any Yu-Gi-Oh player this, they'll probably say no. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh in the early 2000s. There we go, that's it. And stopped right around the time Pendulum Monsters got introduced because I started working and couldn't hang out with friends as much. I decided to try this game out after playing online duels for a while now. I have to say Konami utterly destroyed the game. Almost every duel I have involves 5-minute long first turns for my opponent that result in an OTK or second turns that violently and effectively decimates me. Yeah, I do agree. Nowadays, Yu-Gi-Oh is like a 2-turn game. You set up your board turn 1, it gets broken. Usually that's it, depending on what deck you're playing. The mechanics of some of these decks are so convoluted and complicated that it was just baffling. I've never seen such ridiculously overpowered boss monsters before, so imagine my surprise when at least 80% of every opponent I faced OTKs. Yeah, we're in a game where you can put up 5 negates, we need to be able to OTK, I think. But I do agree, grind games are more fun, in my opinion. The few players I ran into that were actually amateurs for our ranks was fun. That's when we actually played the game, tried out some older cards, there you go, that's why you're losing, and it was genuinely really nostalgic. Every time I saw my opponent start long chains of summoning, linking, XEs, pendulum, etc. into a field full of giant monsters with complicated effects and very little limitations on them, I just surrendered. Eventually I started winning because I was able to stall out a few turns of their OTK. See? Apparently if it's not a one-turn kill, they just stop caring. No. It's not that we stop caring, it's that a lot of decks, especially if they're going for an OTK, if they don't have any more gas in their hand and you manage to kill everything, they can't. They often surrender, but some will literally sit there, inactive until their time runs out, I guess to troll me. Okay, that is really annoying. I have had that happen to me a few times. Boring. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is boring. Konami destroyed it. I want to introduce this guy to, like, Edison format. I think he would love Edison format. And on that note, I think we should add Edison format to Master Duel. Add Edison, add Go. We had those limited events that really opened the floodgates. And I think people like this would come back in droves for Edison format and other formats. So I think that's something Konami does need to consider if they want to get rid of these negative reviews. Speaking of, I promise I didn't scroll down to see this. That's actually really good. I really like it. I gave it an honest try, but modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't for me. I'll wait for them to either put Go or Edison format in the game. If you like the game, good for you, my dude. Keep playing it if you have fun. I messed up because I ain't. That's probably one of the most helpful reviews I've ever seen. Whilst it doesn't say why they don't like modern, they gave it a fair shot, 120 hours, and they've said, you like it if you like it. I don't. I like the slower game. I'm going to give you an award. No, I'm not. I have to sign in, apparently. Here you are. Let's give you a, let's say, what award are we thinking? So we'll get a heartwarming. There you are, good sir. Very, very honest review. I really do appreciate that. It's rare that you get someone that says, I don't like it, but you might. This is a good one. 10 hours in. Can't play the game if you don't have a 22 card chain combo that brings out a 4500 attack power beat stick on your first turn that can't be effective or destroyed by card effects. Yes, I'm coping. Yes, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh! Boomer that remembers starting a duel with 1 monster and 2 face down at the most, but this is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. Now, I can see people have awarded this with 4 jesters. I honestly, this is a, obviously, it's exaggerating a bit with the 22 card chain and always having a towers monster. But he admits he likes the old Yu-Gi-Oh! More, just like similar to the other review. They want an old format. Konami give the people what they want, including us. Because even modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Players would like another way to play. Because I agree, at the moment, sometimes it does feel a bit annoying to load into Master Duel and watch your opponent combo for 10 minutes while you play on your phone. But yeah, valid point, dude. And a lot of people found this helpful. So a lot of people clearly agree with the sentiment. This one's great. Fell asleep waiting for my opponent to finish his turn. And 6 hours at review time. I like to imagine that that's all in one game. They they sat down and fell asleep, and they woke up 6 hours later. That was funny. Oh yeah. Now this is a relatable review. Snake Eye sucked. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of does. Have you seen the tweet? Snake Eyes is a cancer on this game. Yeah. A lot of people agree with this. I do too. Snake Eye does suck to play against. So we have a review from someone with 400 hours. Great AFK game. Start Duel, and if you're second, you can go read a book, watch a movie, and make a meal. Come back and it might be your turn. 10,000 unique cards and only 5% of those are used. Spend hours building a deck and crafting, go into a duel, lose coin flip, wait 30 minutes for your opponent to summon entire deck, place monster destroyed, place spell negated, special summon returned to hand, end turn and lose. This is poetry. Best of one, so can't build an alternative deck for counters. Cost of deck is too high for little resources gained from story and crafting. At this time, I'd probably recommend playing against this game, or don't keep your expectations high. If you don't play one of the handful of meta decks used, you won't have a good time, unless you're a masochist. We're Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, we're all masochists. Then ignore everything I've said and fuck it. Enjoy your time. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, this guy gets an award. I think. What's one for poetry? Is there like a... Yeah, deep thoughts. Yeah, deep thoughts. This one is succinct and to the point. Stop playing the game. It's my fucking turn. Someone played against Flu too many times, or Tillman. Yeah. I know this is a big complaint from people nowadays, but I genuinely think this is one of the best things about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because in other card games, you do literally have to sit there and twiddle your thumbs whilst your opponent does stuff. In Yu-Gi-Oh! You can interact with your opponent on both turns. I think that's one of the best things about Yu-Gi-Oh! But I know a lot of people don't like it, especially not this guy. So a lot of these complaints appear to be similar. This one is about meta decks again. Love facing the same 3 meta decks every single duel. Such a fun experience of not being able to play. Nice job, Konami. Well, I will say if you had a better deck, but you might be able to stand up to it. The second bit says, hey Konami, want to fix your coin toss systems where I won't lose every single one. I just went through 12 matches, lost every coin toss. Thanks. 12 matches? Number of flips 12. I want to have exactly 12 heads. That's a 0.02% chance of happening. If that's true, I feel for you, buddy. That sucks. I think at that point you start building a going second deck, and then it'll start to make you go first. That's just always the way. Spend 10 minutes watching a dude set up his board. Modern players jerk off over this aspect of the game, but if I wanted to watch someone play solitaire, I'd visit my grandpa at the old folks' home. Put in CPU opponents so I can play against a reasonable level of casual difficulty, or at least let me rank down from losing surrendering so I can fight people who give the same level of not a fuck about this game that I do. There's a solo mode. I'm not going to tell him that, but I'll also say there's bots on the ladder as well. If you see my Legacy Ladder series, you know exactly what I'm on about. But yeah, I just love this line. If I wanted to watch someone play solitaire, I'd visit my grandpa at the old folks' home. I'd love to see that in like 50 years. I'm going to be in the old people's home just dishing out cards. Yeah. The shifter. If your first turn takes more than 2 minutes, you need to reevaluate your life. Shit. I'm gonna need to start looking at my life. Like, every turn takes more than 2 minutes unless you brick. Every Yu-Gi-Oh player, you're gonna have to start reevaluating your decisions in life that got you into the point of playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Succinct and to the point, ban Max C. Yep, agreed. 100% agreed. Another one about sleeping. I got auto-surrendered because I fell asleep waiting for eternity for my opponent's turn to end. Aside from the ungodly long-term timer, this game is actually fun to play with your friends using fun decks, not some tryhards using meta decks and combo that lasts for eternity. Good for tryhard, for casual players like me, not so much. Personally, I argue that I think Master Duel is more casual than the TCG. The fact that you are in a best of one format is a lot less punishing, because you can play gimmicky decks and get away with it, and you don't have to worry about side decks. It's a lot more casual than hopping and dueling book and playing on the ranked ladder there. But I suppose for a lot of people that aren't playing competitively, this does seem like a try-hard simulator. So yeah, that is a helpful review for people. But you might want to get that looked at if you're falling asleep in, what's the turn timer, 5 minutes? And maybe put some hand traps in, that might help you. Ooh, this guy got FTK'd. Imagine picking a second turn so you can have a chance at actually playing the game and not having to experience getting one shot by some massive epic... by some epic massive damage enemy turn execute, and then watching as this player in turn 1 go through his entire deck and deal 16,000 damage before you even drew your first card. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Thank you for adding that last line, because that is exactly what I was about to say. Unfortunately, epic massive damage enemy turn does happen at the moment, as I've mentioned previously in this video. 2 turns is often how Yu-Gi-Oh! Goes at the moment. And, I mean... I feel bad for this guy getting FTK'd. For new players, an FTK is gross, because we as experienced players know that FTKs are wildly inconsistent and usually die to one hand trap. But as a new player who probably doesn't even know what a hand trap is yet, seeing this in your first, like, well, I suppose he has played quite a lot, but seeing this in your early days of playing Master Duel really will make you go, what the hell is this game? So I do not blame this guy. If I got FTK'd on like the first couple of duels I played, I would be reconsidering how I feel about Yu-Gi-Oh! But nowadays we know that it's not consistent. But yeah, I get it. Okay, probably the most accurate Master Duel review. I hate Maxi, 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 I hate Maxi. Okay, we're gonna stop now. PS is fine if you use it though. What a guy. Yeah, slow clap. That's beautiful. This is art. I think always like half of the posts on r/Master Duel or like Twitter about Master Duel is exactly this. I think I might just post that every time anyone mentions Maxi now. I installed the game a couple months ago and my opponent is still working on his combo. I gotta give it to people. They're really funny in the way they shit on Yu-Gi-Oh! That is hilarious. That's so good. Wow, this guy has 2,000 hours on record, way more than me. And his review? A Rise Heart. Yes, to the point. I'm a Kashtira player, so please don't take a Rise Heart away. But I agree, it's really unhealthy for the game. A Rise Heart should be gone, as much as it gets me wins. I just love how succinct this is, versus the guy that goes, I hate Maxi, I hate Maxi. Ooh, this one's good. It's fun unless your opponent can't read and you have to wait 10 minutes for them to play. See, his opponents are missing the key part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you don't read. You just kind of play cards and see what happens. Yeah, I have to say this is a skill issue on his opponent's part, so I can understand why he is upset. Ooh, I don't agree with this review. This is obviously in the early days of Master Duel 2022. If I see Eldritch, Drytron, Tri-Brigade, or any of those annoying decks, I'm going to time myself out and do something else. You don't deserve fun. Ooh, that's probably the first controversial review that I've seen. Even if you don't enjoy the game, please do not do this. As we saw in another review, it's another source of frustration for other people that people just sit there because they're salty. Please don't do this, whatever you do. It's just not fun for anyone. You're wasting your time and you're wasting their time. So yeah, I don't be this guy. Wow, this one is interesting. Very pay to win. You don't send souls to the Shadow Realm, you send wallets instead. Just imagining like Bakura in the Shadow Realm and a fucking wallet just appears. But I still don't get this sentiment. Unless you're building every deck under the sun that you want, it's really not pay to win. I think people are agreeing. 24 hilarious. I think it's probably because of this comment. But yeah, I think a lot of people do have trouble with this because I guess they just craft cards that they like, and a lot of nostalgic cards are ultra rare. So I think for a lot of new players, it doesn't feel free to play friendly. But of course, if you copy a meta deck and you run with that can last you months and months and months if the ban list doesn't hit. So I think this is another new player problem. So that's it for the video. Honestly, this has highlighted a lot of key issues for Master Duel. I didn't expect to actually take anything from this, but I can see a lot of new players. I mean, obviously, a lot of people don't like the combos, which is something they would have to get used to for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But my main takeaways are new players are running into decks like FTKs. They're running into issues actually catching up to the meta because let's be honest, there's no real way in-game to introduce you to meta decks and hand traps. It's all the solo gates are just kind of archetypal decks, which can be good, but they don't teach you that you should be running Max C at 3, Ash Blossom at 3, and shit like that. I think Master Duel could do a lot better job at handling these new players, especially, as I say, introducing them to the modern metagame a bit easier rather than just jumping into ladder and getting comboed for 15 minutes, which again is a massive issue for a lot of players. Even myself, sometimes it does get frustrating, and I've been playing a lot less Master Duel. Another big complaint is Maxi. Of course, Maxi still exists somehow. What was it, 95% use rate? These are all very valid concerns. that I didn't expect to see in the negative reviews. I expected just looks bad. But I'll leave you with this. If you had to leave a negative review on Master Duel, what would be your biggest complaint? Mine would be, I hate Maxi, I hate Maxi, I hate Maxi, I hate Maxi. Anyway, that being said, if you made it this far in the video, please do feel free to hit subscribe. New Yu-Gi-Oh videos each week, and as always, happy dueling.